Hello, welcome to this rather casual episode of Gregorian Chat.
Yes.
The podcast where we don't have a tagline.
Still.
That's the one I'm going with now. It's starting to grow on me, that line itself.
Podcast where we don't have a tagline. Okay, we'll go with that one.
It's...
Put out all our t-shirts.
Actually, we need to make some t-shirts. Let us know if you'd be interested in buying one, because we're thinking of doing some merchandise, maybe some mugs.
Well, we've got mugs, but we're thinking about making some for you.
Exactly.
If you want them.
Yep.
If you do, let us know, and if there's enough of you, we'll get you to pay for them.
Yeah, well, we'll get you to pay either way, but... Today we thought we'd just have a nice little discussion episode, a bit lighthearted. It doesn't have to all be about doctrine and faith.
Yeah, but very topical still.
True, we can tie it in somehow for those who just need that fix of Gregorian doctrine in their life. We're talking about the latest Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi.
Yeah. The last one.
The Last Jedi.
The last movie, which is The Last Jedi. And there probably will be spoilers in this, so if you haven't seen it yet, watch this first and you'll know what... No, I'm joking. If you don't want spoilers, because I'm not going to hold myself back.
We also just want to say that it's okay that Brendan Malone has copied our idea and decided to do movie reviews and things. This is not a movie review. We don't want to just copy Brendan Malone's thing. All we want to do is
talk about Star Wars.
Just talk about Star Wars, and we're allowed to do that. So shut up.
We created a platform for this.
Yeah.
Just to talk.
And we'll tie it in some way too. We're not going to talk about them, as other people might do. I think the way that movie making is going and all of that really technical stuff. We're just going to talk about what we experienced in that movie, in that cinema.
What I liked, what he liked, what I disliked.
Potato. So, let's start off with some of the pros. And I'm not talking about, like written words here. I'm talking about the good elements of The Last Jedi, because there were a lot of them, I thought.
I enjoyed all of it. Well, to be honest, I'm just a massive fan of John Boyega and Daisy Ridley.
Well, you're not that big.
I'm not that massive.
You're not that massive.
Well, in my fandom, I am. Fandom.
I'm
a fandom.
Are you a fan of Dom? Oh, we need to make that'll be a
Dom fandom. Anyway, just a big fan. Anyway, there's
definitely a lot of wind coming out of you right now.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. So anything they're in, really, I quite like. And I'm also a massive fan of Rey and Finn. Isn't
Star Wars literally like the only things that they're in?
No, they're in quite a few things.
Okay, well,
I'm a fan, I know these things.
Well, I'm not a fan Dom. I'm just a regular Dom.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the fact that they were in it.
Okay.
Again. The main characters.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't decide to just scrap those guys and go with some completely new Finn and Rey.
Yeah, so what was one of your pros?
I liked that they had some new Force concepts. So I like that, spoilers for those if you still haven't decided to turn this off. That they, so Luke, when he's able to use his kind of holographic mode. And also the one that I liked even more was the fact that Rey and Kylo Ren have this Force bridge where they're able to...
That's super cool.
It's super cool, right?
Yes.
So they're in different places, but they're able to kind of sense each other. And Snoke, the villain in the movie, he actually makes it clear that he was the one who kind of facilitated this bridge. So I'm not sure if it's something. I'm not sure if it's something that will be like a permanent bridge, or if it's something they can just tap into at any time, or something that he just set up for a bunch of Skype dates essentially. FaceTime.
Essentially, FaceTime
appointments.
That
was cool.
Something I liked about it was speaking about the Force, of how they made it more emphasis on the midichlorians and stuff, like how it's not actually about read as much as you can and you'll become, it's not about training, it's about engaging with the midichlorians, or allowing them to work through. I don't know how it works properly, but I like that aspect of the whole Force thing. And everything with Kylo and Daisy, and the fight scene, the conversation.
The scene where Kylo is like shirtless and rubbed in oil.
She's like, "Could you just put a top on?" And he just doesn't.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, she actually asked him to put a top on. He's like, "No, I've been shaving these nipples for a long time." Yeah, no, that scene in particular really.
How awkward could that be in real life? Because it just happened randomly, didn't it? They didn't necessarily say, "Let's do it now." They're like, "Oh, it's you. What are you doing here?" Kind of thing.
I don't think they were doing it.
No, well, I mean, I'm saying they could have been. And then, oh my god!
And then I'd be like, that's a terrible force power. No one should have that.
yeah.
Bilocation procreation.
Accidentally just turning up into people's rooms. Oh, sorry, I don't know how to stop this.
This is why they call me Invader. Bedroom Invader. Anyway, so much more that can be said there.
What about Star Wars?
Yeah, other good things. I liked that it was a new plot. So there was something other than A New Hope, which I think The Force Awakens pretty much was a mirror of A New Hope. So I thought it was good that it was like a new storyline. They had some new planet, maybe. I think the planets that they were... Yeah, it was like a salt planet. That was quite cool. Some of the artistic stuff and the ship design. The coolest thing of the movie for me was that one scene where the purple-headed admiral woman decides to steer the big rebel frigate through another speed, through Snoke's ship at light speed, and just the effect that created in the cinema, and the whole cinema went quiet, and you had a whole bunch of like nerdgasms in the background. It was real funny. But that was so well done.
I really like the whole Finn and Rose thing.
Yeah,
I do quite enjoy that. Quite enjoy that. And also I liked how I felt there was like 3 storylines going on. There was like there was like, so I felt like I watched a trilogy in one movie. There was Rey and Kylo, there was Finn and Rose, there was Poe and his thing. I love the beginning with Poe and when he's trolling the commander, the ginger guy. Yeah, I love that. And then the fact that he manages to take out all those things and
Huck, is it Huck?
Yeah, something like that.
Hucks or something.
I just love that whole bit. But then I was like, yeah, you managed to take out that Megatron thing, but yeah, you killed everybody. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, all the bombers are now dead.
Yeah, that whole bit with Rose's sister, and I was like, why is she kicking it? It's like, just climb up.
Well,
she might have hurt her back.
She was probably also moving quite fast, and I don't know. But anyway,
yeah, I think
it sounds like we're getting into the negatives now.
I guess so.
I mean, before we do it, wait, was there any other positive things for you about this movie?
I think that were the main positive parts for me. I like, the Finn and Rose, the trilogy, Rey and Kylo, and the Poe.
I really liked the nuns. They were quite funny.
They were very funny.
The scenes when they're getting all pissed off at Rey during a training. And I really liked Luke's character. I thought he was really well done. Yeah. And I thought it was a really good movie as I think a reflection on the sin of despair. And this is where I'm going to tie it into what we normally do on this podcast, which is talking about faith stuff. Because if you follow that storyline, Luke has a slightly different account from Kylo's, Ren's account to Daisy. Saying basically, when you look at the difference between the flashbacks, Luke was like, "I'm going to kill Ren before he turns." Yeah. But then he had second thoughts, and so he was just standing there with his lightsaber open when Ren turned around. Whereas Ren, in his perception, was that he was coming in for the kill. So I gotta, So, so the whole idea being that Luke had sensed the darkness in Ren and thought, this is going to turn into something chaotic, and I need to end it before it begins. And it's kind of my fault for training him and not keeping a close eye enough on Snoke. And so he despaired, and he despaired in the power of not even the power of anything. I think he just despaired in who Ren was and his ability to choose for the good. And I think that's something that Rey actually points out to him, and she says, he still has good in him. Yeah. And he, if you hadn't threatened him, then he would have still chosen for the light.
Well, I think also it's not just that, but it's also like Luke was only looking from his perspective, and that's what happens to us all. Oh my gosh, I'm going to say this, then they're going to say that, then this will happen, then it'll all go bad. It's like, no. It's like if, Luke despaired because he was only relying on his own strength. And in Christian circles, it's like, if we rely on God who strengthens us, then we can do all things. But in the movie, it's more like, actually, no, I have faith in him. Have faith in the Force. Like everyone has good and bad in them, and allow the good to happen. and he didn't.
And you can see why he got to that stage, you know, because Luke is a legend, as they keep saying. He's this legend dude who was the hero of the rebellion, and it kind of got to his head. I think, you know, he's as another theme, I guess, is that our leaders and that our heroes in the faith are never beyond and never above reproach. You know, in terms of they should be above reproach, but they're not. They're not without their failures and the potential to fail as well, and that's something that we need to keep in mind. And it's really clear in the fact that Luke has actually cut himself off from the Force when Rey finds him on this island. You know, he hasn't actually been engaging in the Force, which is why he's able to live with himself, essentially. And live in this place which is so Force rich without being affected.
That's true. And because like Luke makes that distinction, is like he hated the kind of like view people had of him. It's like, I'm not that. It's the Force. And speaking, like, one of my other favorite parts was the cameo of Yoda.
I thought it was pretty well done.
I thought it was brilliant because it was like the original Yoda puppet, but like I imagine CGI. And I just thought, actually, they could have really messed that up. And
they could have done like what they did in the
prequels.
In the prequels with just new Yoda. Oh,
I thought it was genius. I loved that whole part where, you know, Yoda was that old cheeky kind of misleading thing. So I thought that was awesome.
But so I think it was good. A good kind of movie in that regard. And I mean, thinking of the faith, and this really, I think a lot of people might be annoyed at the fact that they might read into it as like they're attacking institutionalized faith, you know, maybe the church, and saying, oh, we don't need all these books and the doctrine and all that stuff. We just need to live it. You know, we just need to live the Christian life, and we can burn down the tree, we can burn all the books, you know, which is like, okay, well, if you're using that as a parallel for I think knowledge and faith and all that kind of stuff, then
I think a good rule
is a bad road to go down.
It's never to use movies to justify decisions about the church. As a rule. Don't look to Hollywood.
Disney,
don't look at Disney for that. But I think it was a really good movie. One thing that's coming on to the cons.
Let's get on to the cons.
Speaking of Disney,
and we talk about cons.
No, I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, talking about Disney, it was very Disney-fied. The creature, the race, the horses with faces, like the huge cat things that they.
Oh yeah, those are weird.
That whole thing. I mean, like the concept of it was cool, but like going from abused animal to actually no, I've decided I'm going to like you because you're the good guys, Finn and Rose, you know, and then they just rescue them, and it's like it was just like it was so easy. It's like there's no taming of the horse necessary at all. Like whereas in like past Star Wars movies, they've found an untamed animal, but because of the Force, they've been able to tame it. Well, no, I mean like they found like horses that they've had to tame. Like in the prequels mainly, but like they've tamed animals through using the horse, the horsepower, the Force.
But the thing is that neither Rose nor Poe have the Force.
Not Poe, Finn.
Was it Finn who was on the
game?
Okay, sorry, Finn.
But like they had those little kids and stuff, which is cool, and I thought that was a good like kind of story. I thought it was like it's a bit too cheesy. Too cheesy. I
mean, I don't like. And I know in Brendan Malone's review, he said like that casino scene was a lot about, you know, there was a lot of politics there. To a certain degree, I wonder how much you can read into these things, like. Like noticing that they're all white men who are dressed up in, you know, with these old, you know,
I only remember one white man.
Moustaches. Yeah, well, there were heaps of aliens, and I think that was kind of the thing. Is it's just like the filth of the universe. But then I guess the parallel was like, oh, they're all men, and they're all. But I don't know. I feel like that those kinds of things. I'm like, you just gotta. I don't care about that.
I think you've got to use stereotypes, and stereotypes are a rich guy surrounded by women that are like, you know, it's.
They're also aliens. You know?
And you're just using that just to because it's not a main part of the story. So okay, like people will get it. It's like we use this white guy surrounded by these women, and people will get the concept. Rather than having to make it difficult, like, it's a woman surrounded by guys, or not surrounded by anyone. It's just rich people, like of varying races and genders.
And it's obvious, and there's another point people made, is that throughout the movie there's a lot of like diversity. So even the fact that Finn and Rose have this relationship, as you know, as a black guy and an Asian girl, and it's like you don't normally see that. But a lot of people find that they're like, they're like trying to shove this diversity down our throat. And I'm like, well. you only think of it that way. I feel like you only think of it that way if you have some kind of issue with diversity in the first place. In my opinion, it's like we shouldn't even notice. You know, why should we notice that the characters are black or Asian or whatever? Like, I think if you're finding that you feel that the diversity is being shoved down your throat, then it's like, well, maybe you've got to think twice about why you feel it's being shoved down your throat. Why? I don't know. And a lot of people say, well, no, it's not that. It's just that they're trying too hard, because you can see they're trying to make it obvious. And I'm like, well, you know, it shouldn't really offend us that they're trying to be inclusive.
I do like how they didn't make Finn and Rey get together. How they just managed to keep...
Not yet.
Well, they've kept this like kind of like brother-sister bond.
Well, Rose, but you know, she forced herself upon Finn, not in a sexual way. It was just a little kiss, right? It was like, oh...
She fell in love with him.
Yeah, but he hasn't exactly reached out and like... Maybe he was
looking
after her.
At the end, he seemed pretty connected to her.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know.
I like to think that's happening.
I think that other things that I took issue with, obviously the biggest one is is Leia and her stupid like, It's just like there was no logical reason why that had to be done that way. I think like, I don't know. It just would have like you've never seen her using the Force.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem because they still have another movie, which I'm guessing they'll include her in.
Well, I mean,
even in a small way, right?
And I feel it's kind of like it's kind of weird the fact that Carrie Fisher's died, God rest her soul, and they've kept Leia on. It's kind of like, so you're just gonna keep on using her face like CGI. You're gonna have somebody else with dots all over their face and superimpose Leia's, Carrie Fisher's face on. I feel like that just makes me feel uncomfortable.
The question is, could they carry on with these movies?
I think if Fisher for something different. It was too far there.
You say Fisher?
Oh no.
No, anyway, but yeah, the Force thing in space was just, it wasn't explained. It was a little bit kind of a tokenistic like Force thing because she has the Force. I was quite happy with Leia just being able to sense, when Kylo was around, and this having this element of like the Force as a thing of wisdom. Like it doesn't necessarily need to manifest, and just the problem was that it like the Force. I think like she must have been unconscious. She was in space. She's a human being, so the Force like kicked in, and I guess used her body. I guess you could say that's the only logical explanation.
I don't know. I don't even know.
I don't know.
There's lots of things I don't understand. Like at the very end, how after the bilocation fight, Luke just disappeared.
He was absorbed into the Force.
I didn't get that.
Well, the thing is, like, so Obi-Wan Kenobi, is it? Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
When Vader goes to strike him down.
Yeah, but he was struck down.
I always thought that he was absorbed right before Vader struck him down.
Well, you might have
Maybe
thought
it's just
that.
bad filming.
Yeah, well, it was done on a budget. It was done on a
budget. But anyway, yeah. So other negative things, I think we've only got a minute and a half. On the whole, I think it was
Star Wars.
Not a terrible movie. A lot of people are annoyed. Yes, that they're trying to scrap the canon. I don't even think they're going to scrap the canon. I think all they're saying was for the theme of the movie, it's a bit like Thor being changed into Odin, essentially. He loses his hammer, and you're like, oh my gosh, but Thor is his hammer. It's like, yes, but he doesn't need to be. And so maybe use that as a parallel and think like the Jedi, they have all the wisdom there, but it can still be passed down if they're being trained correctly.
Midichlorians more than the wisdom.
Yeah, so something to think about there.
Yeah.
I think they could still do good movies from here on in, but they just need to find a good balance between the comedy and the seriousness and whatnot. But anyway, that's a humble review for you.
Good movie, definitely go and see it. I'm going to rewatch it.
I'll rewatch it.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's going to be, the third one's going to be great.
I hope so. Oh, and Snoke died way too easily. Anyway, that's how we'll finish.
Okay. Snoke did die too easily.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We will be putting out another episode maybe next week. Who knows? We'll see. See you later.
God bless. Hey guys, thanks for watching the podcast. I've got good news. It just got a whole lot easier to search for us online.
All you got to do is search Gregorian Chat into YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, and Player FM for those who are on Android.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. See you later. God bless.